What's up? What's up? Welcome to another episode of Jamming with J Money, man. It's me and Jordan right now. Jordan, you're gonna come in mid show, man. But we ready to get to some cash today. Little 4 game NBA slate, but we still gonna try to find some winners. What's up, Jordan? Everything cool with you?
Yeah, man. Actually had a pretty good night last night. Missed the play they gave out on the show of Sacramento and Houston under the first half. I should have just trusted my gut on that one and went with the Kings all the way as big dogs in that one. That was the little one I was disappointed about. But play I didn't get about on the show yesterday. Orlando Milwaukee first half under, full game under. The cash both those. Wasn't a bit surprised that the Pacers kind of laid a dud in the first half and were forced to kind of try to come back against the Clippers just without avail last night. That was an interesting game. Watched the first half of that one. Uh, but yeah, yesterday, man, I think it was the second day in a row that I'm just mad that I didn't jump on the Thunder. That was probably my biggest takeaway from yesterday. But cashed a few props, which made up for it, and I felt pretty good about yesterday. How about you? How'd you end up yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was a bit frustrating for me. Some stuff that I really like didn't come through for me. Obviously took that loss with the Pacers there. Like you said, I mean they was down 20 in the first half of that one. So I mean that one wasn't looking too good. Did end up hopping on the under that one, cash that one. I don't know why the hell I didn't fade the Cavs yesterday, man. Knowing damn well they sorry as shit and they just seemed like they quit. They another 22-point loss by them. Wasn't even close. I mean, the Celtics was pretty easy yesterday. They under ended up cashing as well. Like I said, I mean, it was a lot of points for the Celtics. I just didn't like that Smart one. I know if Smart was in there, I would have definitely been on them. But I just wasn't sure with Hayward coming back after a long absence and then Smart being out. It just was a tricky spot for him. But the Cavs, I mean, only mustered up 88 points, man. They are a total bet against team for me. Like I say, we didn't want even a point of talking about that game yesterday. But when I went on Jimmy's show, I told him, man, look, I definitely would be looking towards the Cavs in this spot, man. And so the Bulls game versus Raptors, that was a pretty good game right there. The Raptors damn near lost that game. I mean, the Bulls was on them. I mean, you can say pretty much them. They was tiff and tat the whole game. The Bulls had a little lead there late in the third quarter and fourth quarter, and then the Raptors just kept on chipping away until they got like a 4 or 5 point lead in the fourth quarter. Bulls still came back, and they still had the opportunity to win the game late, but I mean, the Raptors, they did what they did. The defense, I had the under in this spot, 214 and a half. I'm glad that it didn't go into overtime, so cast the under in that one. I know a lot of people was on the Raptors yesterday. I'm glad I stayed off this shit. The Bulls ended up cashing. The Pelicans, they end up losing their game. They had D Rose on a game winning shot. That was a pretty crazy game. The Pelicans didn't seem like they quit though in that spot. I mean, the Pistons had the best of them. It was tied late there. Could have possibly went to overtime, but like I said, it didn't look like the Pelicans quit. They just end up losing their game. And the game winning shot, you had to give credit where credit's due to D Rose on that one. Also had to give credit to the Kings. I still think it was a bad spot for them. The Rockets had got up 10. I know Junior was pissed, man. The Rockets was up 10 in that first half. I'm like, okay, but 10 up 10, 11 points. And then right before halftime, they let the Kings go on a run. And then ever since there, they never could really separate. But I mean, the Rockets seemed like they was finna separate there. I don't know. And that's what they do. They just kind of be playing around with teams, start bullshitting, chunking up threes, and then when they're not hitting them, then that's when you, oh damn, now we down, yeah, and then you playing from behind. So I'm really not mad that I mean, they weren't finna cover that 12 for me for the Rockets, so fuck them. They could lose the game. Shit, if you ain't gonna cover for me, I want to see you lose straight up. So I didn't mind seeing they got Bill Lisa hit that three. I mean, like you said, you play hard like that, you deserve to win. Let's see the Magic, they kind of surprised me over there keeping it close from the Bucks. I was telling people on Jimmy's show, possible letdown for the Bucks off that huge win. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Magic keep that one close. And you're right, Jordan. OKC, that was easy money, man. I mean, if you had them on the money line, even with no Gallinari, that was easy money. I hopped on the under in that spot. I was all over there under with no. Once I saw Gallinari out, I'm like, shit, let me get this shit 211, 208, all this shit, man. I loved it. But I actually thought that it would have been the other way around. I thought it would have been the Jazz 104 and he keeping OKC under 100 points, but I didn't take the team. So I was just on the under, man. It's cashed that one. The Timberwolves, they cashed the first half money line for him, but then the second half, they just totally fell apart. Still like the angle in their game. I'm not sure what's going on with the Timberwolves right now. They were a great road team. Right now, they can't win at the house or on the road, man. So it's pretty tough there. Like I say, cashed the first half, but the full game didn't cash that one. And the late game, man, I did lose on the Warriors, man. The Grizzlies came to play, and I thought it was going to be more points scored in that game as well. And their first half was just terrible, man. So, I mean, the second half, they started to score some points, but first half was just terrible, man. What's up, Junior? I see you in here. How was yesterday for you?
I went 2-1 yesterday. I hit the Bucks first half -7, and You know what? It's funny. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? Bucks first half -7. I had. Sorry about that, guys. I had that Houston game. I want to talk about that for a second. I'm just glad they fucking lost. If I'm just gonna be honest with you, like I was so happy because you seen Westbrook in the huddle talking about game over after he hit that layup with 1 second left. This guy's been in the NBA for 12 years. Probably been playing ball since he was like 5 years old. It ain't over till there's no time on the clock, bro. I'm glad when Bielitsa, and I remember J Money, you were saying yesterday you didn't know how to say his name. That's 2 game winners in a row. Now. He dropped 30 on the Mavs. Now he came and lit up the Rockets. You got to know how to pronounce his name at this point, bro.
Right. Yeah. No, I know how to pronounce his name, man. I was just fucking with y'all yesterday. I knew how to say it, but I don't like to butcher nobody's names. But yeah, he had a damn good game. I don't really think he went off last night, but he definitely had that. He definitely had that game winner. So I mean, that's the only thing that matters. When you get that game winner, like you say, I mean, they deserve to lose that game. But the way I feel, if the Rockets weren't gonna win by more than 12, they could lose anyway. That's the way I feel about the shit. But it's yesterday, man. It was water on the bridge. I mean, it wasn't a huge play for me, nothing on the Rockets. But they end up taking an L there. But the one that hurt for me was
but you mentioned, sorry to cut you off, you mentioned my first half. I mean, I had a -7. They ended up winning by 6. And you saw, I'm glad that you saw, they were cruising in that first half. And
they was finna take off. They
like Jordan mentioned, like we all say. Yeah, they just threw that shit away. So I went 2-1 yesterday. I hit Boston first half -8, Bucks first half -7, but I lost that Houston first half -7. So it was an all right day.
Right. So I mean, that's how you wanted to. That's you good on the recap yesterday, Jordan. That's all you wanted to say about yesterday. Anything else you had to say about what we said, Jordan?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention real quick. The Rockets. I think my instinct was to fade him yesterday. I said this before Junior got on, and I just should have ended up doing it. And the late game between Memphis and Golden State, that was one that I missed as well. I had the first half over 107 in that one. I felt pretty good about that one, but you guys warned me, I think, in the show. Warriors have just had really struggled scoring, and it really hasn't been alleviated yet with D'Angelo Russell and Draymond Green back. So they're going to continue to struggle in spots. And you're right, Memphis did come to play, Jay. That we can't shortchange them at all. The Rockets, man, I just feel like we got to fade them until further notice because they're just a team that just can't close. And I mean, and like you guys said, they continue to disappoint and have these letdown spots, letdown after letdown after letdown. I hate to say it, but I actually had a lot more optimism for them before the season started. I'm completely embarrassed at this point of the year that I said that I actually thought that Houston could be a top 4 team in the West.
Well, my whole thing is these teams are inconsistent. I mean, you can't really say that because then they went and go and beat up on the Raptors in Toronto. So you never really know what you're going to get from these teams. I mean, even last night, if you watch that game, they was up 11, 12 points. Right, I'm talking about like at least 2-3 minutes right there before the half. And I'm like, man, my guy Junior finna cash it. We finna be on our way to a 20-point win. And then they just fall out. So, I mean, they can do it. They just don't. I mean, like exactly what you saw from Westbrook there. They get complacent. Oh, we won a game. Then now you don't go play defense and now you lose. But I mean, that's enough about yesterday. But that's the main thing I want to say, man. Lately in the NBA, these teams shit's just not consistent. I mean, you can look at stats and shit all day. You want teams in the basketball, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like I say, I mean, a lot of people was on the Raptors there versus the Rockets today, and they came to play. And you see what happens when they come to play, but they play down. A lot of these teams play down to their competition, man. But let's get into some games today, man. I want to get into this. We only got 4 games. Let's get into this Wizards and Hornets game. One, I don't have a lot on. Initially, I wanted to take the Hornets here, but you see the line moving up to 2.5 for the Wizards. Still no Isaiah Thomas, no CJ Miles over there for the Wizards. They still pretty small. PJ Washington a little banged up. Marvin Williams not going to play in this spot. They do play a lot better at the house. I mean, it is technically a little bounce back spot for them. I mean, neither one of these teams I'm in a hurry to bet on. It's the Wizards off 2 losses as well. I mean, both teams off 2 losses in this spot. I mean, me personally, I would have to take the home team. Even with it move up 2.5, I would have to be looking towards the Hornets here early, maybe full game as well. But I'm staying away from it, man. I know the Hornets or the Wizards with last 8 games that went over. I know it's some crazy ass stat, man. The boys, I mean, they've been going over. Not past what. Past 3 or 5 games that went over for the Wizards. We know they're a run and gun team, man. I'll definitely be looking towards the over as well. Any look on this game, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, when I first looked at this game yesterday, I initially said, okay, if anything's under 230 points, I'm going to slam the over. And then it opens at 234. And so, okay, I said, okay, that's probably not something that I'm going to touch for right now. And then it's gotten hammered by whoever has just ducked this total down all the way to 229, 228 and a half. So I have no idea what to do with this game because I initially look at it and say, okay, Hornets play a little bit faster at home as compared to what they've been playing on the road. If you look at their splits with the Wizards, who are on the road and just absolutely one of the fastest paced teams in the league, if not the fastest, this game screams points because neither team can play defense, especially early in ball games. But that being said, like this is a lot of steam to go against if you're trying to bet the over in this game now that the total's dipped down 5.5 points. I was looking at the first quarter over as potential. It hasn't really moved that much, and 58.5 isn't bad, but like this game really confuses me. I think I agree with you, Jay. If I had to make a play on the side, I'd probably go with the Hornets, but you can't really trust them right now just because if Bradley Beal's hitting shots and goes for 35, 40 points, I don't think there's any way Charlotte walks away from this building with the win tonight. So the Marvin Williams injury does kind of hurt too. He's a little bit of that veteran presence off the bench. They're playing a ton of young guys now. I don't think they have anybody on their entire team other than Bismack Biyombo that's like under 25 years old. So this is just a type of game. It's probably a stay away spot for me at this point. If I had to have a lean on it, probably be the over. But I think there's probably some better games on play tonight, even with the short slate.
Exactly. Yeah, and the Wizards, one of those teams, man. You would wish that some of these better teams with better rosters play with the tenacity and aggressiveness they play with. I mean, the Wizards are a little pesky team. They don't have a good roster. They don't. Their coach is terrible, but they seem to stay in games, man. Prime example, that Heat game where they, you know what I'm saying, covered it by the hook, and they just stayed in that game all the way versus the Clippers. That first half, they gave the Clippers a run for their money, and then obviously they just blew them out in the second half. But in the first half, I'm like, damn, the Wizards keeping up with the Clippers, man. It's crazy how these sorry ass teams, they be overachieving, and the good ones, supposedly good ones, don't really play as well or play down to their competition. But and I can say the one thing that scares me for the Hornets, the last game you getting your ass bust by the Hawks at the house. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you think it's a huge bounce back, but come on, bro, the Hawks went and smacked you like that. I'm staying off. That's why you probably see this shit steaming up at 2.5. What you think, Junior?
I got the over 119 first half, which is a pretty big number. So obviously, like we all do with whenever we try to make a play here, we try to, I try to see if I can find reasons to talk myself out of it, and I just really couldn't. Even though it's a big number, Washington's last 7 first halves has gone over 119. Charlotte's defense lately has been horrible. They're allowing 116 points per 100 possessions in the first half of games. And they even looked at the angle that, Charlotte plays a lot slower than Washington, and Charlotte's the home team, and the home team usually tends to control the pace. But then I looked at these like totals for Washington. I mean, so on Thursday they played the Sixers at a pretty slow pace. That game ended up at like 99.5 in terms of pace. They still put up 120 in the first half. On Friday, the next day, in a back-to-back situation, that the pace was even slower for Miami against Miami. It was 96, and they put up 126. So every way you look at it, this team is just playing to the over. Charlotte doesn't defend anyway. The Wizards are even worse than Charlotte on defense. So I just think that 119 is actually a pretty attainable number for both of these teams the way that they're playing right now.
Yeah, you made some good points. The only way I could look at it is over. Jordan has a point as well. I mean, it's just getting steamed down a shitload. I mean, it's being steamed to Wizards and the under. Like I said, I'm staying off of it, man. I would go against both of those, but I don't have to make a bet. I'm not neither one of those teams, man. I'm looking to fade both of those. I'm not really looking to bet on either one of those unless they're getting like 10 points. So I'm staying away from this shit. The Hawks game scared me versus for the Hornets, bro. Fuck that. Let's get to the next game, man. We got the Nuggets versus the 76ers. 76ers laying 4 here at the house, man. Total been steamed up from 206.5 to 208.5. The 76ers 12-0 at the house. Only 7-5 ATS though. So I mean, we'll see here. I mean, the Nuggets obviously are a scrappy team. I mean, they're a good team. They don't have any injuries. They got all their guys. They got bigs. They got guards. They play good defense. I don't know why their offense struggles, to be honest. I really don't. I mean, they got good players over there. I don't know if it's the plays they running or if they need to speed the pace up. The Nuggets used to run and gun and shit, and now they just want to. I don't know what the hell they got going on. I think they got to utilize the pieces on their roster, bro. You got guys that run and gun, dunk, shoot threes, whatever. I mean, you can't have Jokic running the damn point guard out here. That shit slow shit up, man. Do he need to go lose 20, 30 pounds or something, man? I'm a fan of Jokic, but come on, bro. Y'all got to do something different. The Nuggets supposed to be better than this. I feel like they're going through a little slide right now. They lost versus the Nets. I mean, was this the last game of their road trip? They lost the previous two, man, to the Celtics. You can't blame them lose to the Celtics. But I mean, the 76ers been playing well lately. Another one of them teams that kind of pick and choose and they want to play. They've won two out of the past three and five out of the last six out of the last seven. I still will be leaning towards the Nuggets here, man. I might get there with the +4. I think it's a winnable game for the Nuggets, man. I know the 76ers are a different beast at the house, but they just so up and down to me. They're not a consistent team to me, man. I know they didn't blew some teams out the water here lately, but the Nuggets gonna bring their heat, man, for real. Them boys, hey, ever had spicy nuggets and Wendy's with that sweet and sour sauce? Hey, I like the Nuggets tonight, man. +4. What you thinking, Junior? I know you like them spicy nuggets, Junior.
Oh hell yeah, those are bomb, bro. Those are the shit. You already know.
Might have to get a frosty. I gotta get a chocolate frosty too.
Yo, bro, I live 2 blocks from Wendy's. So anyway, but I got the under 106 in the first half in this spot. I watched the first game. These teams are gonna play they're just gonna. First of all, we've been saying on this show for the whole season, even when Denver was, I think at one point they were like 12-3 or whatever. They were winning games, but I watched a lot of their games. They don't look good, bro. Their offense is not consistent, and I got a big problem with the way they run their offense for this simple fact: your best player is 7 feet tall, and he would rather pass than shoot. Like Jokic, like barely even looks at the rim in a lot of games until basically he thinks that they're in trouble and then he tries to get it going. But the way that he plays, he moves in slow motion. And this is not me dissing Jokic. I think that he should just be more aggressive offensively because he's a really talented player. So now you're basically relying on Jamal Murray to supply the offense, and that could just be up and down. So they've got to figure out a different way to play. I don't think you could just turn Jamal Murray from a shoot first guard into a point guard, because if they could, he would just play that way anyway. But the crazy thing is this: my natural instinct is to say that they need more ball movement. But if you look at their stats, they actually move the ball a lot. So they just need to make shots, bro. This is a team that doesn't really make shots, and now they're going into Philly, where if you look at the 76ers splits, the 76ers are a much, much better team on defense at home than they are on the road. They're a top 5 defense in the league, but if you look at their road defense is actually not very good. It's their home defense where they're dominant. So I just think that doesn't serve Denver well. Let me just throw out a J money line. It's a revenge game spot. They just beat him in Denver without. I'm pretty sure Ben Simmons didn't play in that game. He's back. He's looking actually real good. Had a career high the other day. I just think that the under 106, like the game line is 205, which is pretty low. But I think the under 106 in the first half, I think that's the play for me in the spot. It's one of my official plays.
Yeah, it is a revenge spot. You're right. I mean, I don't bet it every time, though, and I don't blindly bet the revenge spots. It is one. I definitely took that into account. It's just it's tough for me to think that the Nuggets gonna look past them, and I could see it. Even I could possibly even see them losing and still covering spread. I could see it coming down to the wire, but like I say, man, I got a sneaky feeling that the Nuggets gonna really come to play here, man. What you thinking, Jordan?
I'm going to build off something Junior was talking about with his play on the first half, because my play on this game is in the first quarter and the first half as well. Philly has been remarkably, I mean, I guess not remarkably, but pretty solidly one of the best home defenses in the league, and that starts in the first quarter and the first half for them. They get into teams. They are extremely versatile defensively, and they could even get a big boost tonight if they get Josh Richardson back, who's questionable. He got upgraded. He's missed the last 6 games. We talked about him, I think, when he went out, about how that was an underrated loss for this team. If he's back and giving you close to his full minutes at his capacity on defense and on offense with shooting the basketball, I think this is a clear spot for Philly to come out and have a very, very good start to this game. They have been not only a very good first quarter, first half defense at home, but just like Junior said, Denver's defense has been borderline atrocious on the road, and that is especially amplified in the Philly in the first quarter and the first half is definitely too low. I would not be surprised if you see some steam in that direction. So I'm grabbing it here as two of my official plays here today because I just think Philly, especially if they get Richardson back, I think it's even better play in that. I like it even if Richardson sits because they've been getting some pretty good contributions from Matisse Thybulle and Furkan, Korkmaz. James Ennis has been playing well, so they got the bodies to make up for it at the 2 guard position if Richardson misses. But if Richardson back gives him back that depth, I think Philly's a great play here in first quarter, first half.
Yeah, and Philly has been a really good first quarter team at the house. Me personally, I hadn't seen anything on Richardson being playing in this spot. I know Thibault was a little banged up the other day as well. Like I said, we'll see if Richardson does play. Obviously, that helps out 76ers a lot, and I think that helps out the over as well. Like I say, it has been steamed up. I'm definitely staying away from the total. I still think that the Nuggets are still a damn good defense team, even though the numbers might have said these past few games they lost 4 out of 5. But I still think deep down they're going through a little rough edge right now. It's that's why I say it's tough for me to take them. But I still do think they're a great team. I mean, they did beat the 76ers over at the house, like you say. That was with no Simmons. They got full roster now. Played a lot better at the house, man. It's tough to step in front of the 76ers, but I just can't forget how inconsistent they are. I mean, Knicks team came into their house a couple of times, damn near beat them. So yeah, they 12-0 at the house, but a few of those times they had to come back from down 17 to the Knicks, bro. I mean, like I say, we'll see here if the Nuggets gonna come to play. We'll see. But yeah, you're right. Philly is a damn good first quarter team. If Josh Richardson is ruled in, then I could see this line possibly going up to 5. We'll see. Me personally, I hadn't seen anything on him playing though. What I see, he's out indefinitely with the hamstring. But we'll see, man. In this spot, that's just what I'm thinking on. Let's get to the next game, man. We got the Hawks versus the Heat. Heat here laying 9, man. Last 2 games they hadn't covered. They was 8-0 against the spread at the house. Last 2 games they hadn't covered. They looked lethargic. I mean, they gave versus the Wizards. I don't know how the fuck they didn't blow the shit out of them. It came close, but even though they won by 9, man, it wasn't even that close. They kind of pulled away late during the fourth quarter. They was bullshitting that whole game. Versus the Bulls did the same thing. Bulls damn near beat them outright in regulation, win the overtime, and Tyler Hero was their fucking hero. Can they do it again? I don't think the Hawks finna go and have another performance like they did versus Charlotte. So I can only look towards the Heat here, but I just don't like the way they've been playing lethargic at the house. Maybe throw the Heat in the money line parlay if you'd like something in college. So I think the Heat will win, but I'm not ready to lay that 9 with them. But I definitely lean that way. I'm leaning towards the Heat in the first half as well. What you liking, Junior? I know the Heat, your team.
Yeah, I'm trying to cash on with them again. I lost my play on that Bulls game. I had them first half full game. I'm doing it again. I got them first half full game against Atlanta. Just to touch on something you just mentioned, that game against Charlotte, Atlanta got a big win. They needed one because they've been losing a lot of games. That being said, they got 4 bench players that scored double figures plus 2 starters, so that's 6 players with double figures. That's not going to happen again against this Miami team that actually really defends, unlike Charlotte, who does not defend at all. I think first half minus 4.5 is a really, really cheap price against this Atlanta team. I don't see any reason why Miami doesn't take care of business, other than the fact that what you just said applies. The last 2 home games, they kind of look like for the first time all season, they played down to their competition in the last 2 home games. I don't think that happens again because they've got some tougher games coming up. And, you know, if I'm a team, I'm a coach, and I look at my schedule and I've got some tough games coming up, I better take care of the games that I have in front of me. Because after this game, they play the Lakers and the Mavericks back-to-back. They play the Grizzlies and then the 76ers. So they can't afford to be throwing away wins here. I think they come in and get the ship right tonight and send a message to these trash-ass Hawks, because the Hawks are not a good basketball team. Beating the Hornets has not convinced me that everything's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dragic still out. Winslow out. I know Bam Adebayo, he was questionable. Looks like he is gonna play. Probably gonna be a little banged up. And Josh Richardson is questionable, so he could possibly make his return tonight. But you guys go and look at the roster lineups, man, and tell me that the Nuggets can't keep up with the 76ers here. Go look at them. Go look at the rosters and the matchups, and tell me matchup for matchup they can't keep up with the 76ers. And you got anything on the Hawks and Heat game, Jordan?
Hey, let me cross back over real quick because you just mentioned it. Like, I think the full game spread for that Denver Philly game is a wash. Like, I don't think I'd touch that either way. I think it's a really sharp line at 4. I think that could easily be the spread if Philly wins this game. So I'm not like way. I think they're just way better playing the first quarter and first half of yesterday. But yeah, I do have a play on Miami. I'm probably gonna end up having to tail Junior on the first half though, because I think we're on the same tip on this here. Because I like Miami in the first quarter a little bit better than the first half, but I think they're both probably really good lines. You've seen some steam already. That first half line, I don't even see it at 4.5 anymore. I think it's at 5 all the way across the board at this point. And the first quarter line has pretty much gone from 2.5 to 3. So there's obviously some people that like it as well. But just simply because Miami has been, other than the last 2 games, which obviously yeah, they couldn't get up for a couple of bad teams, and this is the 3rd bad team in a row. But just like Junior said, man, that tough stretch of the schedule, they better come out fired up. And I think they're going to have some motivation to put this team away early because they have 3 full days off before they play the Lakers again. That's a lot of time to spend in Miami having the time off in December. Let me tell you that. I wouldn't mind it as well. So I think they take care of business. I think they get it done very early in this one. And simply because Miami has been one of, if not the best first quarter team in the entire NBA this season. At home, here I just pulled it up. At home in the first quarter, they're averaging 126 points per 100 possessions, only giving up 97.5, a net rating of 28.7. That's about all you need to know against a Hawks team that's one of the worst defensively in the league. Still missing their best player in John Collins on both ends of the court. I mean, they got so many guys. Like, I am a little worried about their injuries. Justice Winslow and Goran Dragic should not be discounted, but I don't think it matters too much against this Hawks team. I think they come out. I think they try to put this team away as early as possible, get their guys some rest in the fourth quarter, rest up for the Lakers coming to town in 3 days.
Yeah, you mentioned something there, man. It's always something to take into account, man. Motherfucking look ahead spots, man. You motherfuckers. How the Heat been looking ahead for 3 games? What the hell they been going?
Probably.
Look, I'll tell you. That game versus the Bulls scare me because we know the Bulls are not really a great team, and the Hawks, I think they can score the ball better than the Bulls. Bulls came in there and was on the Heat, man, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck going on? Like, I didn't have a bet on the game, and the line looked low to me, and I know some key guys was, you know what I'm saying, telling me, hey, look, Bulls plus 7, Bulls to play, and I'm like, man, I'm not fucking with that. And I see the game, I'm like, damn, bro, what them boys know or something? And then win the overtime, I'm like, are the Bulls finna win? Obviously, he win, but that game shouldn't have been that close, man, especially with the Bulls on the road. If anything, at the house, I could see them staying close. You see what they did versus Raptors yesterday. Not on the road, man. Are the Heat going to their own strip clubs and shit? What the hell going on? I don't know. That's too many points. Nice little liquid head spot. You're right though, man. They are real strong on the first quarter and first half. We'll see if they come out. Like you say, it's plenty of games. I always said that he can build by 20 at the end of the first quarter, man. It's sayonara from there, man. But let's get to this next game, man. The Knicks versus the Blazers. Obviously, Knicks got a new coach. Another one with some steam. Opened at 218 up to 223 and a half, man. I know the Blazers opened at -10, went down to 9 immediately. It touched 8.5 today, like it's back up to 9. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see more money probably come on the Blazers here. Carmelo facing his old team. Rodney Hood, key injury that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. They don't really think it make a big difference. The Blazers had to bring it in, and Kevin Love wants to go to the Blazers. I don't know why, but he prefers to go there. Obviously, they need him, but that's neither here nor there. The Knicks, though. They got a new coach. The last game, they beat the Pacers. It was without Brogdon. It was at the house. They, like you say, with a new coach angle. It works for one game. Didn't always work for a while. Those first couple of 3 games, though, shit, they kind of get a nice little surge, man. They got Peyton back, started getting their point guards back. Still running Frank Nicotina out there, but shit, at some point you got to put Peyton back out there at the point, man. They don't really have a whole lot of injuries right now. I think it's too, man, call me crazy. It could be a get-right spot for the Blazers, don't get me wrong, and I'm not huge on it, man, but I think that the Knicks, I think it's too many points to be laying with the Blazers. You see the last game versus OKC, it was a revenge spot for OKC, and Schroeder did whatever the hell he wanted to. Simmons, I think they need to send him to the D-League, me personally. He didn't look too bad last game, but every series he's go to the D-League, man. He is not a fucking NBA player right now. Rodney Hood is a very underrated injury. I feel like that's something like a Josh Richardson to the 76, but even bigger to the Blazers. They don't have a whole lot of scores. That's why they brought in Carmelo, and then you finna lay 9 points. I just think even if it is a bounce back spot for him at the house, Lillard and McCollum gonna be probably obviously the best players on the floor. After that, come on. Whiteside looked a little bit better lately, Junior, but I think it's too many points, man. Tell me I'm smoking, man. I know I like to, hey, gas up or whatever, but tell me I'm too high right now or something, Junior.
Nah, you good, bro. I agree. Well, first of all, you already know Portland's front line adding Carmelo Anthony doesn't make them that much better than they were. They could score more, but who could they really defend? Rodney Hood is important to them because basically the way that their team is made up, he's another one of their forwards, and they don't got too many good ones. If you look at the Knicks got mostly forwards, right? The strength of the Knicks team are their forwards. Like, you're not going to hear me say this too often, but who on this team is going to stop Julius Randle? Who's going to slow down most of the Knicks forwards, really? Like, seriously, though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to say the Knicks are going to win this game, but are you going to lay double digits? Because you need double digits to cover the spread. I'm not laying double digits with Portland. They're not a good basketball team. The Carmelo story is nice. I love Melo, but they're still not a good basketball team. So there's no way in hell that I would lay 9 points with Portland. Forget about that.
Exactly, and I feel like if you even think Portland is gonna blow out the Knicks, or you think the Knicks sorry all this, or the new coach ain't got no mean shit, take Lillard and McCollum. One of them, you got to smash one of the props over because I mean, both of them have to go out if they're gonna cover this spread. I mean, if they win this game by 15 points, yeah, it can happen. The Knicks are still best squad. And I'm not a big fan on firing the coach, not always. I mean, so obviously, and the Knicks still have mediocre players, average players in the league. When they was making roster moves this year, I was like, the Knicks shouldn't be this terrible. So I mean, I guess maybe you do have to make coach because I didn't think they would be 4-19, and I mean, some of them losses, they were really close. They almost beat Philly at the house. They beat the Mavs twice, so they can step up for a game. Only 1-9 on the road, still 5-5 ATS. This is a game where I think they'll lose, but it could be 4 or 5 points, man. Like I said, they still playing with their fire like they did last game. They down there beat the Pacers, man. I think the Pacers, even without Brogdon, are better than this fucking Portland Trailblazers team. It's tough to go up there and play in Portland. It is, and like I say, Dame and CJ can go off at any time. They're going to be the best two players. But after that, man, I'm telling y'all, and Whiteside looked a little bit better. But other than those three, the team is ass. Well, I'm telling y'all, man, the bench is bro. The Blazers are not a good team, man. Whatsoever. I don't know why this damn total being steamed up. Maybe they think Portland finna go put up 120 or something. I don't know. I still think that the Knicks can play some defense. Still got some defenders out there. Frank is still a good defender. He gonna be on Dame. It's tough to stop him, but you can contain him. What you got to say on this game, Jordan?
Yeah, man, I have so many thoughts on this game, and I really want to act on them, but I haven't yet on any of them. And it's just because there's so many things that are just confusing about this game. I want to touch on a couple things. First thing, Jay, were you talking about Elf Payton? I think he absolutely will be and should be starting over Frank Ntilikina, and that's no shot at Frank. I still think Frank's a good player. I just don't think he's ready to be a starting point guard in the NBA right now. So if Payton gets back in there, that's an underrated offensive move for them because, I mean, this team has been horrible offensively. But getting an actual point guard in there that can move the ball, break down to defense, and drop some dimes. I mean, yeah, this Knicks offense is going to get some upgrades. And then, like Junior said, like, how often, maybe 4 or 5 times more this entire year, will you be able to get the Knicks in a spot where their front court has this much of an advantage over a team and they're taking 9 points? I don't care about the venue. The venue doesn't bother me too much. Obviously, on the road, they're not as good of a team. But the Knicks here are not 9 points worse than the Blazers. I don't know if I'm ready to take the 9 points with the Knicks, but I sure am leaning that way because, I mean, like you guys said, like, I mean, even off the bench, like this team brings Mitch Robinson off the bench. Speaking of guys who should be starting, but Mitchell Robinson is absolutely going to feast against Skal Labissiere tonight. I don't even see it being a contest. So if they can make up with those matchups and actually, keep this game close and keep those guys like CJ and Dame from going crazy, like I think they can absolutely cover the 9 points. Am I ready to back that with my own money though? I'm not quite sure yet.
I think I'm smoking, man. Hey.
No, you're not.
I'm smoking. I think it's too many points, man. Tell me I'm smoking. I think this is a little spot for them boys, man. I mean, them boys. I like I say, I really do think that a lot of people are undervaluing their Rodney Hood. When he went down, and I'm watching the game, I'm like, oh, bro. I mean, because they were at least playing a little bit better. I mean, Mike Miller, new coach. I mean, they one of these games they gonna win. I mean, I'm kind of glad they didn't win versus Pace. I'm like, bet I can kind of still ride this shit. They gonna want to win the next game. Wouldn't be a bit surprised to see them win this game, man. The Blazers have not looked good. I think Hood is a big. I think that's a big piece, bro. I really do think it is, man. I like Junior and Jordan agree with me. I'm taking the Knicks, man, plus the 9. I'm not going in on it, but I'm taking it. I'm taking it for a unit. I'm taking the Knicks, man. I think that's with any favorite or dog on this card tonight, man. I just think this is one where we getting too many points in this particular spot. Injuries for the Blazers. The Knicks, I mean, they starting to get players back, man. They got a new coach trying to ride that little wave right now. I had them versus the Pacers. I'm riding this shit again, man. I'm getting 9, and they're gonna be motivated. Give me this shit. Give me this fucking 9 points. I don't give a fuck. I don't care who against you, man. Y'all don't like it. Hey, if it cash, man, I'm be talking shit. If it don't, hey, I'm still gonna recap it. Give me the Knicks plus a 9. That's really my only look on the card today, man. Like I say, and Josh Richardson got upgraded to probable, so hey, I might have to give me a. Hey, line might go up to 5. I might wait till the last minute, man, and take them Nuggets, man. I think they being undervalued right here. The 76ers is a good team. They finna get. I'm taking a West team over East team any fucking day, man. I know it's in Philly, but I'm leaning towards the Nuggets here, man. I'm gonna try to wait and give me a 5 here, and I'm not touching them other 2 games, man. I do like that Heat though in their first half though, Junior. I might have to ride with you on that one, my guy. What you guys gonna recap your plays? What was your plays, Jordan?
Yeah. Hey, if you want any side action on Philly Denver tonight, you know who to call. Because I'm definitely putting more down as soon as I get off this call on Philly first half, first quarter. So we'll see where that line goes the full game. But yeah, I got let me see here. I got Miami first quarter -2.5. Got Philly first half -2. First quarter -1. I see it steaming up at some shops now, so I think that Richardson news is getting around. So I like those 2, and I'm leaning towards first quarter over in the Charlotte game, and Knicks plus 9 also a lean for me. I might have to jump on it though. Jay Money, it seems pretty excited about it today.
Which one you say? I feel that you might have to jump with me. That I'm excited. The Knicks.
The Knicks. I might have to jump on the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, bro, when I seen it, I'm like, I mean, it went, bro. I'm talking about it opened at 10, bitch went right down to 9. I'm talking about immediately, like, motherfuckers was like, what 10? Oh hell no, we're finna smash this real quick. Went down to 8.5, man. I think it's the side, bro. I do think so. So y'all hear my guy Jordan looks. What you got for us, Junior? Just go back over your official plays for us, please.
Yeah, I got 4. I got the Heat first half -4.5. Heat full game -8.5. I got the under in the Philly Denver first half at under 106, and the Wizards Hornets first half over 119.
Got it. Yeah, Luis say, bro, this ain't a regular game for Melo in at MSG. Bro, you tripped out, bro. It's important. I mean, and that helps him out even more. And I mean, yeah, if you like the Melo angle, and like I said, he gonna have to go. They had to go off tonight, man. We'll see here if the Knicks get blown out, but I don't think Mike Miller having that. He finna say, man, we finna go lock up Melo ass. Pay
But
Portland,
you know, Kevin
CJ,
Love. The only reason Kevin Love wants to go to Portland because he went to high school in Oregon, though.
Yeah. Hey, they need him. He know that they need him. He know that they gonna pay him too. They, you know what I'm saying? That they got some money to spend. All that shit all works out because I mean they need him.
But it's just
right
another.
now.
It's just another forward that doesn't play no defense, bro. That's the problem in
Love
Portland,
was finna go to Blazers a few years ago. Now that I remember it, a few years back, I think I heard something about him possibly going to the Blazers. That was pretty crazy. So yeah, this ain't his first time. He, like you say, it must be something there. He really wants to go there, man. But just 4-game card, man. We still got 4.5 minutes, man. I'm going with the Knicks. If I could lose it, I'm not slamming it or nothing, but I just think that's the most valuable bet of the day. I mean, I don't really like to say value a lot, but I think that deadline should be Portland -6 all day. There's no way in hell it should be laying 9 without Rodney Hood. If they had Hood in the spot, I still would probably be looking towards the Knicks. I mean, yeah. So no Hood, I'm definitely looking. Give me that +9 all day, man. I got to. I might ride with my guy Jordan with that Heat first quarter as well. That's a damn good play. I was already like in the first half. I like the Nuggets as well, man. I'm leaning towards. Hadn't took it though, man. Y'all know what's up, man. Let's try to get some money for these Christmas shopping, man. 2 weeks later. Leche, hey, Los Bookmakers.